A poor nurse runs in the rain to save a dirty, wounded beggar, abandoned on the hospital sidewalk. Instead of recognition, she is humiliated, threatened with dismissal, and called the nurse of the beggars. Little does she know that this muddy man carries a secret capable of turning the hospital and her life upside down. When he comes back, months later, silence takes over the corridors, and what he will reveal will leave everyone without floor. The winter of Chicago in 2025 was cruel, with winds that howled the streets, carrying the sharp cold of Lake Michigan. The neon lights of the bars in the Loop reflected in the puddles, while the Mercy Hospital, a gray, worn building, pulsed with the chaos of the emergency room. Clara Mendes, 29, a nurse of Brazilian origin, ended another 12-hour exhausting shift. Her blue whites were stained with sweat and disinfectant, her brown hair tied in a loose bun, and green eyes, back of tiredness, still shone with a fierce determination. Created in Englewood, a neighborhood where dreams rarely survive, Clara knew what it was like to fight. Daughter of immigrants from Salvador, she carried the weight of being the hope of the family. That night, the paramedics brought an unconscious man, wrapped in filthy rags that smelled the street and despair. No document, unnamed, just a beggar for others. While doctors hesitated, muttering on priorities, Clara acted. With firm hands, he cleaned the man's infected wounds, managed antibiotics, and spent hours adjusting the serum, ignoring disdain. His colleagues laughed. "Santa Clara saving street mice now?" Supervisor Dr. Richard Reynolds, a middle-aged man with cold-eyed, scolded her. "You're wasting resources to someone you don't matter." But Clara didn't hear. There was something in that man, the deep wrinkles on his thin face, his eyes gray, half-circled, that seemed to cry out for a second chance. When he woke up, weak but lucid, he held Clara's hand with surprising force. "Thank you," he murmured, the hoarse voice carrying a weight she didn't understand. Her eyes found hers, and for a moment Clara felt a shiver, as if he knew something she didn't know. She smiled, but the answer came in humiliation. Margaret, a sharp-tongued senior nurse, spread that Clara thought Mother Teresa and dirty the hospital with beggars. The nickname Saint of the Homeless became a joke, and cruel laughs echoed through the corridors. Even Tasha, her best friend at the hospital, an easy-laugh nursing assistant, tried to defend her but was silenced by looks. Days later, the man disappeared from the hospital, leaving only an empty bed and questions. Clara, despite the hurt, moved on. His life was a tightrope. The back rent, the debts of the nursing course, and the fragile health of his mother, Donna Lucia, who was fighting diabetes in a tight kitchenette. But that night, something strange happened. When checking his bag, Clara found a small but heavy silver pendant recorded with a stylized key symbol. He had no idea where he came from, but when he touched him, he felt an inexplicable heat. It was as if fate is whispering. As he walked home in the rain, the soaked sneakers spanning the sidewalks, a black car slowly passed, the dark glass reflecting his tired face. The engine broke, and the car stopped for a moment before accelerating. Who was watching, and why did the pendant seem to throb in his hand? Chicago was a starting city. Shitting skyscrapers rose as sentries, while neighborhoods like Englewood, where Clara lived, were forgotten, marked by shootings and poverty. His kitchenette smelled the strong coffee and the Bahian spices that Donna Lucia wore, even with trembling hands. At 60, Lucia was a pillar, but her health cheated on her. She told Salvador's stories, the pillory, the acarajé, the sea, to keep clear anchored, but her eyes were missing. "You are my warrior, daughter," he said, although Clara felt more like a survivor. Clara was a paradox, empathic but hardened, dreamy but pragmatic. "I dreamed of being a doctor, but the salary barely paid the bills." In the hospital, she was sailing a minefield. Tasha, with her high laugh and fierce loyalty, was her ally. Margaret, on the other hand, saw Clara as a threat, perhaps because of his dedication. Dr. Reynolds, with his air of superiority, always seemed to watch her, as if he knew more than he said. The beggar, now a shadow in Clara's mind, gained contours. Rumors in the neighborhood said a similar man wandered through the Loop, always close to banks and elite offices. Some swore he spoke with refined accent, others carrying a bag full of papers. Who was he? A crazy? A fugitive? The pendant, stored in Clara's drawer, seemed linked to him. She tried to research the online symbol, but found only vague references to a company called Keystone, a financial giant that had collapsed in 2015 amid scandals. A new character came into play, Ethan Caldwell, a 35-year-old lawyer with impeccable suits and a calculated charm. He was visiting the hospital for a supposed community project, but his questions about the beggar were insistent. "Have you seen this man before?" he asked, showing a blurred photo. Clara denied, but noticed the shine in his eyes. Curiosity or something else? Ethan seemed to want to approach, offering coffee and compliments, but Clara kept the guard. Was he an ally or predator? Meanwhile, the hospital revealed its secrets. Clara noted that medical reports disappear, especially from poor patients. Tasha confided that she saw Reynolds destroying files, always checking her cell phone as if waiting for orders. When Clara tried to access the records, she found new passwords and cameras in the corridors. Something bigger was at stake, and she was in the center, not knowing why. One night, Tasha pulled her into a corner. "I saw the beggar entering a chic building in the center. He didn't look like a beggar." Clara decided to investigate, but upon arriving at the address, she found only one steel door and a security guard who faced her coldly. What was being hidden, and why did she feel that each step took her deeper into a maze? Clara was not backward, but each track raised more questions. The pendant led her to Keystone, a company that, according to old archives, went bankrupt after allegations of money laundering. The symbol of the key was your logo, but how would a beggar be linked to it? She began to connect the points. The disappearance of the man, the missing files, the hostility of Reynolds. In the hospital, the tension climbed. Margaret intensified the humiliations, spreading that Clara stole supplies to homeless. Reynolds called her to the office, the hard eyes. "If you keep getting into where you shouldn't, you'll lose more than your job." Clara found support in Tasha, who revealed that other poor patients disappear from records, as if they had never existed. "It's as if the hospital erases those who don't pay," said Tasha nervously. Clara decided to investigate deeper. With the help of a friend of Tasha, a IT technician, she accessed the hospital system at night. He found a dossier about the beggar, identified as John Doe with notes, priority patient, contact, Keystone. There were also encrypted emails between Reynolds and an unknown sender, mentioning transfers and trace cleaning. Meanwhile, Ethan approached, offering help. He revealed that he worked for a firm investigating corporate fraud, and that the beggar could be a track in a Millionaire case. "Trust me, Clara," he said, but there was an evasive tone in his voice. She confronted him. "Why do you care so much about him?" Ethan hesitated, admitting that his client was someone powerful, but gave no details. Clara suspected, was he helping or using it? One night, Clara went to the building where Tasha saw the beggar. Disguised with a hood, she entered a service ladder but was taken by cameras. Before he could escape, an alarm fired. She ran, her heart in her mouth, and managed to leave, but not noticing a family symbol on the wall, Keystone Key. Upon arriving home, he found his door ajar. Someone searched everything and the pendant disappeared. In the bathroom mirror, a message written with lipstick. "Stop now." Who was behind her? And what did you know about the beggar? While Clara hunted answers, subtrums enriched the plot. Donna Lucia, her mother, faced a worsening in diabetes, and the medicines cost Clara's salary more. She started working extra shifts, but exhaustion made her vulnerable. Ethan, realizing his fragility, offered to pay the bills in exchange for information. "You don't have to carry the world alone," he said. Clara refused, but temptation grew. Tasha, in turn, revealed a secret. She joined money to get away from Chicago and a violent ex-boyfriend who pursued her. Her loyalty to Clara was tested when Margaret blackmailed her, threatening her by denouncing her for helping to invasion defies. Tasha hesitated, and Clara felt her friend walking away, creating an emotional tension. "I love you, Clara, but I can't lose everything," confessed Tasha, tears in her eyes. In the neighborhood, Clara met Miguel, a 16-year-old who sold bullets in the corners to support her sick mother and 3 minor brothers. Miguel via Clara as a heroine and began to bring rumors from the streets. The beggar was seen in shelters, distributing money and disappearing. He told stories of a ghost man who helped the poor by adding a touch of mysticism. Miguel became an ally, but his subplot gained weight when he revealed that his mother needed expensive surgery and he was considering entering a gang for money. One night, The pendant reappeared, left in your mailbox with a note. Keep looking, you're close. The message left her divided between fear and curiosity. Who was playing with her? When Clara saw a man of suit following her on the subway, she knew the game had changed. He descended at the same station, keeping distance, but his eyes pierced her. What did he want? And why did the beggar always seem a step ahead? Everything changed an anonymous connection at 2 a.m. A distorted voice said, "If you want the truth, go to the warehouse at 47th Street, midnight." Despite the fear, Clara was. The warehouse was a maze of boxes and shadows, the heavy air smelling of mold and oil. There she found the beggar, but he was different. Shaved, clean clothes, sharp eyes. He introduced himself as Daniel Harper, former Keystone. "I pretend to be a beggar to survive," he explained. After the bankruptcy of the company, he was hunted by enemies who wanted to silence it. Clara saved him, but also exposed him. Daniel revealed that Keystone was destroyed by a corruption chain involving Chicago big features, including Reynolds, who used the hospital to launder money from fake donations. The pendant was a digital key containing evidence, emails, transfers, names. He needed Clara to deliver her to reliable contact, but did not say who. "You're the only one I trust," he said, but there was a weight in his voice, as if he hid something. Before Clara could answer, lights cut the darkness. Armed men sent by Reynolds invaded the warehouse. Daniel pulled her from a side output and they ran, dodging boxes and pipes. Clara, with adrenaline, knocked a stalker with an iron bar. Her heart fired. On the street, Daniel disappeared in the crowd, leaving the key with her and a promise. "You'll know everything, but beware of those who trust." Back in the hospital, Reynolds suspended her, accusing her of theft of records. Without a job, with Donna Lucia getting worse and the late rent, Clara was on the edge. But the key in his hands was his weapon. She began to decipher her, discovering documents that linked Reynolds to politicians and even the mayor. Who was Daniel's contact? And why did Ethan reappear, offering fair protection now with a smile that didn't come to the eye? The suspension made it clear to the drift. Without salary, she sold a necklace from her grandmother, inheritance of Salvador, to buy Donna Lucia's medicines. The mother, feeling her anguish, tried to cheer her up. "You are like the sea, daughter. No one to your waves." But Clara was consumed. She spent nights studying the key, which revealed such a vast corruption network that even included local police. Tasha, sorry for hesitating, again helped. She confessed that Margaret received direct orders from Reynolds to spy. Together they planned to expose the doctor, but the risk was huge. Miguel brought information from the streets, saying that Reynolds' henchmen surrounded Englewood. His subplot gained urgency. He was approached by a gang, and Clara convinced him to refuse, promising to help him with his mother's surgery. Ethan, now more present, offered media contacts to publicize the tests. "I'm your ally, Clara," he said, but she noticed that he avoided questions about his client. One night, your house was invaded again. This time they found a picture of Donna Lucia at the table, with a note. Last warning. Clara, instead of retreating, decided to fight. She started recording conversations with colleagues by collecting more evidence against Reynolds. But how to face such a powerful enemy without losing everything? And where was Daniel, who seemed to have evaporated? Clara realized that she needed to be smarter. With the help of Tasha and Miguel's hacker friend, she accessed Margaret's emails, finding that Reynolds planned a $10 million transfer to an offshore account, disguised as donation. Clara also faced her internal demons. He has always seen himself as insignificant, but saved Daniel and challenged Reynolds to see his strength. A conversation with Donna Lucia was decisive. "You don't only carry our blood, daughter, carries our fight." These words rekindled her. Clara resolved Tasha's subplot, helping her to confront Margaret and ensure her safety. Tasha, grateful, swore loyalty. "You are my family now." Miguel, inspired by Clara, decided to study to be a nurse, and she got a contact to fund her mother's surgery. Ethan, however, remained a puzzle. He revealed that his client was a Keystone whistleblower, but Clara was still suspicious. Even so, he accepted his help to contact the media, keeping him under surveillance. When Clara found out that Reynolds would participate in a charity event in the center, she saw her chance. The event would be televised, perfect to expose the tests. But the plan required to find Daniel again. She tracked rumors to a shelter, where she found him, now looking as an executive. He seemed shaken as if he knew of a greater danger. "If you go to the end, Clara, everything changes," he warned. What did he hide? And why did she feel that the real enemy was still in the shadows? Clara planned every detail. The event at Hilton Chicago would gather the city's elite with Reynolds as honored. She, Tasha, and Miguel would infiltrate. Clara as a waitress, Tasha as a staff, Miguel hacking the projection system. Ethan provided false credentials, but Clara noted that he received secret calls. "Trust me," he repeated, but she kept the key hidden. While preparing, Donna Lucia had a crisis and was hospitalized. Clara almost gave up, but her mother insisted, "Finish them, daughter." Miguel got uniforms, and Tasha planned a distraction. A leak in the hall, but Daniel complicated everything. In a secret meeting, he revealed that the contact was a famous journalist, Robert Kane, who disappeared after threats. Daniel looked scared. "There is more at stake than you think." Before Clara could press him, he disappeared again. The day before, Clara found a message on her cell phone. "Abandon the plan or your mother pays." The hospital confirmed that Lucia was under special observation. Clara, with tears in her eyes, decided to move on. It was all or nothing. But who was behind the threats? And why did Daniel seem so hesitant now? The night of the event arrived. The Hilton Hall glowed with crystal chandeliers, the air loaded with expensive perfume and hypocrisy. Reynolds spoke about community service, while Clara, disguised, served with the fast heart cups. Tasha pretended to faint, pulling security, and hidden Miguel hacked the projection. When key documents, emails, transfers, politicians' names appeared on the giant screen, the hall froze. Shouts echoed, cameras filmed. Clara took the stage, facing Reynolds. "You used the hospital to get rich while patients died." His voice trembled, but cut the silence. The crowd murmured, and Ethan, breaking the disguise, turned out to be Robert Kane, the journalist. He handed a microphone to Clara, amplifying his live complaint. But the plan collapsed when henchmen invaded, sent by an ally of Reynolds in the government. In chaos, Daniel reappeared, fighting alongside Clara. He revealed that Keystone tried to expose the network years earlier, and he paid the price. "You're finishing my fight," he said, before disarming a henchman. Clara, using her courage, recorded Reynolds trying to escape, her confession captured live. Tasha, wounded but alive, helped Miguel escape. In the final confrontation, in an alley behind the hotel, Reynolds offered bribe. Clara refused, sending the recording to the media with the help of Kane. Reynolds was arrested. The chain collapsed, but Daniel, shot, fell in Clara's arms. "You are the key now," he whispered, before passing out. He was taken by paramedics, making it clear with a letter and a void in the chest. The city was shocked, while the truth exploded. Clara's complaint changed Chicago. Reynolds was sentenced to 20 years, and the hospital, under new management, prioritized poor patients. Clara received a full scholarship to study medicine, your dream now within reach. Tasha opened a community coffee, free from her past. Miguel joined a youth talent program, dreaming of being a nurse. Kane, grateful, wrote a book about Clara, making her icon. Donna Lucia, recovered, saw her daughter shine. Clara, transformed, knew that her kindness and courage moved mountains, but Daniel's letter worried her. He survived, but promised to return when the time arrived. What else was to come? And why did the key, now in your drawer, seem to call it? A year later, Clara walked through the northwestern campus, the lighter Chicago wind. The silver key, guarded as a relic, still intrigued her. On TV, news, an anonymous billionaire donated millions to public hospitals, the Keystone symbol on the screen. Clara smiled, knowing it was Daniel. But as he crossed the campus, he saw a man in hat, his family eyes. He waved, disappearing in the crowd. The key vibrated in his bag as he lives. Clara squeezed the step. The heart fired. The story was not over. Clara's journey proves that an act of kindness can change the world. And you, what can you do today? Support a community hospital, denounce an injustice, or share your story of courage. Visit sites like fictitious.name.org to donate or engage. Clara turned Chicago with her strength. What will be her impact? Post your inspiration with Clara Mendes and join the movement. The world needs more keys like her. If you are enjoying our stories, subscribe to the channel, comment, and leave your like. Don't miss this story that is going on the screen. I'm sure you will like it. Until the next video.